Most of us have two lives, the lives we live and the life we are capable of living. Your own capability is seen through your execution and your plans, which sets the playground for trial and error, which leads you to mastery. Well, this video covers four main elements: mindset for better execution, diminishing current setback, a system for 12-week execution, framework for commitment. Okay, mindset for better execution. So you want to do plus you set yearly goals. That's currently you. And the problem exactly lies in here, like right here. So yearly goals basically fades away because these are too vague, too broad, too big, okay? Due to length and less repetition throughout the way and lackness of specificity, which we will solve today in a very coordinated system and from the insights from this book, 12-week year. So, and you want to achieve the yearly goals, right? But you're not like you just lost eventually. So the book says that when you focus on changing your actions, you experience incremental improvements. However, when your thinking shifts, everything changes. Your action naturally realign with your new thought patterns, and that's why exactly this section is more relevant about why and how you need to set your mindset for better execution. So this is the initial mindset change. Okay, now this is what I call the year-end or December fallacy. So why do people behave differently in November and December than they do in July and August? Inevitably, that is because there's a deadline. Yes, deadline makes people more conscious, which is for most people is December 31st. Sadly enough, this is true. And you need a system that makes you align. You don't need to fight with yourself, right? You're human and that's fine. I make systems work for me that make me work better. The end of the year represents a line in the sand and a point at which measure our success or failure, right? All you basically lack is a clear perception and a clear execution due to the current systems that you have, which we will be slowly solving through and give a better plan for a system. Now, what my point is that hence execution happens when you are present, conscious, and precise. With that, you have to know that if you frequently defer the strategic work to accomplish the urgent, lower value activities, you will never accomplish great things. It's also a mindset thing. You always tend to do things that feel like needed to be done, and you diminish your plan, which was needed to be done. You have priorities, or you don't have priorities, you don't give enough priority to the priority list that you have. All of these factors really deviate you. What the one single solution here is: follow the plan, forget about emotions. Okay, now secondly, continuing is diminishing current setbacks. Okay, what are the setbacks that you think you have? The thinking system. Okay, system. What are the systems in the problems in your? We talked about thinking. So your present system have yearly goals, monthly goals, weekly goals, which is kind of okay. Now, here's how I see things. Yearly goals are long-term visions throughout the year. That's fine, that can be vague. But your yearly goals lack too much specificity or is very, very much vague. And that creates this illusion of what needs to do and you're out of track. So how you set goals creates the resistance that you're having now. Here's a priority-based triangle chart that I came up with, okay? The yearly system is very important, the system, not goals, okay? And secondly, not being explicit is also a very big problem. Thirdly, overconfidence is a big problem. Fourthly, no tracking. These are the things that you need to be very, very careful about in order for you to succeed throughout. Now, here's the thing. Diminish setback number one, which I define. Putting your plan to paper. Always put your plan to paper every single time. Oh my God, every single week, I mean, or every day. Eliminates ambiguity. Why do you feel like, oh my God, I don't need to put it to paper because I'm just too smart for that? Well, maybe you're wrong, because research says that you're probably not smarter if you're just relying on the fact that you don't need something to keep track of. Smart people keep track of everything. And it eliminates ambiguity and creates transparency. For some, this transparency is excruciatingly uncomfortable and produces all kinds of unproductive thinking that can keep you from creating a clear written plan. The thinking often goes like this: I know what I need to do, so I don't need to write it down. That's the fallacy. Get out of this fallacy. you are out of this problem. Number one. Number two, biggest things, implement a 12-week planning. This book talks about the 12-week year. Ideally, you break your years into 12 different weeks. Each 12 week treat each 12 week as like an end line, as like a year itself in itself. You're only focused for the 12 week by that time, and then take a 1 week break, and that's fine. What happens is that you're more conscious about what happens throughout the 12 week, and each week acts like a month, and this whole 12 week is entirely like a year. So it's like condensing it so that you're feeling this sort of feeling that, oh my God, I only have 11 weeks, 10 weeks left. I need to do something. That is my end line. When you create the internal end line, that creates the internal momentum that you need to go with, which creates this sort of results that you are waiting for. Now, here's a basic planning system. So it must have goals, criteria, and each week like revisiting. But ideally, the 12-week goals, you list your goals here, okay, for example. Now, under those goals, what you can do is like for each goal, list tactics. If there's a vague goal, under that goal, write out what are the things that needs to be done. And what are the due? You can write the due date, and that's fine. But each week, revisit your goals and say, okay, what do I need to get done, or what do I need to do in order for one of these tactics to be fulfilled? That's how you achieve specificity. It's not a rocket science. Goal, tactics, due. That's it. Write it on paper. Boom. You see the change. How tremendous and like very subtle. So proof is literally the entire book. What it does is that it establishes clarity, specificity, momentum, and realism, which really sets out the ground for your journey to be more fruitful. Your 12-week goals is ideally based on your long-term goals, and your long-term goals come from your personality, your own visions and missions, and what is the life that you want to lead into throughout these years, and that will lead you to a more sustainable output. Okay, so impossible, possible, probable, given. I'm talking about the thinking stages. You feel like something is impossible, okay? Then you feel like something is actually possible. Okay, then you feel like something is actually probable, and then you don't even feel you have something which is already given. Why does it matter? This is what your brain goes through whenever you change a mindset. What I want you guys is to realize this now. Take a piece of paper and write it down, and then slowly change your mindset, telling to yourself that there's better ways that I can do things in my life, and it's okay to set 12-week years in my life. And anything that you feel like cannot be done can be done with proper strategic planning and this mindset shift. So the idea is that the probability must work in our favor, for us, right? So that comes from being in situations rather than taking like control of anything. Like you have to put yourself in certain situations that allows you to create the confusion inside you. Okay, maybe this is possible, maybe this is not possible. Then you're thinking like, maybe this is possible, maybe this is probable. Okay, now it's given. You have to allow yourself certain things, and that things actually happen throughout the 12-week process, because that 12-week is somewhat of a constrained amount of time for you to observe things in a way that will allow you to learn throughout those 12 weeks and not only execute. So I'm teaching you guys about learning as well here, which you must add it with your execution. So here's what I came up with: long-term vision, 12-week goals, tactics, then weekly divisions, and then systems, synthesized execution. So here's the mindset shift broken down into more complex systems or stages. Phase 1, uninformed optimism. Phase 2, informed pessimism. Phase 3, valley of despair. Phase 4, informed optimism. Phase 5, success and fulfillment. So you start from a stage of feeling okay, and then you hit a challenge which makes the process go very deep. You feel lost, and then you're lost for some while. Then you start getting up, but you don't realize you're still negative. And then you are more informed about your own position, and then you achieve success. And that's the mindset shift plus a success shift in terms of completing a specific thing. So realization creates initialization, which is execution. All I wanted to do is to realize which creates initialization that leads to execution. So in more fast-paced settings, these are the things that you need to be aware of in terms of what you need to do. Vision, planning, process control, measurement, time use, accountability, commitment, greatness in the moment. Greatness in the moment is very important. These all things allow you to execute properly. The only barrier between you and execution is the long-term and short-term planning that you lack, and having that feeling of certainty that you will reach a certain position will give you the power to execute today, now, and tomorrow as well, which will be established if you follow this. Fourthly, the framework of commitment. So, your long-term goals should answer one reason for commitment. What's the one reason for commitment? What's the long-term goals? What's defining that? That should be coming from you. Okay, you're doing something because it matters a lot to you. Why does it matter a lot to you? And that should answer why you should be committed. But however, I should also tell you that you should know the difference between the life you want and the life you live. And want, okay? This is not like you achieve something. That's commitment. That's why you want to be committed, just because of achieving something. But because I believe commitment comes from attainment of a certain lifestyle and not a specific achievement at the end of the road, and that makes your expectations come lower, makes you happier, and makes you propel forward without any fuel, and continually commit to yourself just for being happy in the present, and not in the future but in the present. So the pursuit for attainment is a process, a pursuit, and more like a run with fun. So your end does not define you. That's what my point is. The book says that a commitment is a conscious decision to take specific action to create a desired result. Yes, result. But I more of believe that commitments are powerful. In a way, commitment is accountability projected into the future. So once you establish accountability within your own present life, that creates a definition for the way of life that you're living. You can tell to people, you can feel happy about yourself, and that exactly sets you apart, which will exactly make you happy, which will exactly lead you to execution, which will exactly lead you to sustained, happier, and a better productivity. See you guys in the next video. Bye bye.